Highs in the face, being surprised by what you see, people being surprised by your actions, and then, they throw a pie in your face, not necessarily literally, sometimes literally. just a constant, like, being surprised all the time. It's just, you kind of got to embrace that you're going to learn a lot. And when it's subconscious in nature, it's going to be unusual. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Universal Truths, Imagery, Symbolism, Psychological Profiling, and the gemstones of each of the degrees of the zodiac. We're on Sagittarius and Gemini 1, so it's cusp energy. And if you are here about the cusp energy, you might want to look back at Taurus and Scorpio 30. It also applies to cusp energy. I personally believe that it's a combination of both the 30th degree and the first. So without further ado, thank you so much for being here. We're going to begin with Gemini 1 today. Here we go. A glass-bottom boat reveals undersea wonders. A naked man on an ice floe feels no cold. Knots in a cord. They are messages in code. Deep in the sea, a mirror watches the sky. A large diamond found in an area where diamonds are never found. The stone for Gemini is the Petoskey stone. It enhances psychic awareness. It stimulates the third eye and the crown chakra. It kind of looks like a dinosaur egg to me, the patterning. It's hexagon patterning, sometimes called rays of the living sun. Very interesting. It helps us recognize and acknowledge our emotions, which is an important first step in learning how to love ourselves. It helps bring abundance to our creative projects. It enhances creativity. It triggers mediumship and clairvoyance. Its pattern represents the opening of the third eye. Very interesting. Found in Michigan for one place. But yep, check that one out. It's in the description. We've got a couple of images going on here. We've got the glass bottom boat reveals undersea wonders. So if we break that down, the boat is our ego, our conscious self, and we're the boat, we're in the boat, and we are the boat, and it has a glass bottom, which helps us look into our emotions and our subconscious and find the wonders of who we are. So that's one way to look at this particular degree. Knots in a cord. So this is a lot about communication. Gemini is very much about communication. I mean, this could almost be a person who takes complaints on a customer service line. It's someone who can untangle the knots in communication. So you're talking, and anytime there's any kind of hiccup, you pick up on that, and whether it's subtle or overt, and you work through those. And in working through those, it tells as much about what's going on as what is said in a smooth way. So it's interpreting through communicating, and in doing so with other people, we learn more about ourselves. Finding the deeper meaning of things, doing it through other people. The ultimate underwater dive is in ourselves. So if we concentrate too much on what other people are doing and what their issues are, then we can kind of miss the boat. So we know that you're coming at this, any curiosity that we have, it's ultimately so that we get a better understanding of who we are. So whatever you learn in talking with someone, or whatever kind of hiccups you have or frustrations in communication, it's trying to tell you something on this particular degree. And that is in the knots. And once we finally figure out how to pull all those knots out of the rope, we're going to find diamonds where we thought there would not be any diamonds. You're going to be noticed. People notice you very much. And if you're someone who appreciates your privacy, that can be a little unnerving. Also, when I say noticed, I mean noticed in people can see right through you. And that is disconcerting to some people. Makes them feel very vulnerable. So you may have the ability to see through people, and other people will have the ability to see through you. You can directly feel energy blockages, and you learn from them in other people. So if you're talking with someone and you just pick up on the fact that, oh, when I talk about a certain subject, they tense up, and then you realize that, but what you have to understand is that the deeper meaning is quite possibly that whatever issue they are exhibiting, we're meant to see in ourselves. So journaling may be helpful if this particular degree is strong for you, so that you can try to figure out, okay, what is it that's really going on? And there's surface stuff, and then there's the deeper subconscious stuff. It's a very interesting degree, and it has many layers. You are a skilled, intuitive communicator. You have vision that sees through what is normally not seen. There are no limitations. You can communicate with people's wounds that are in their subtle body. It's that kind of communication. You may also be clairvoyant. It's communicating that requires interpreting. It's reading between the lines, getting under the surface. We have learned many things over many lifetimes, either through past lives or through ancestral lines. And on this degree, we're trying to bring some of that back up to the surface so that we can use it. We want to integrate it. We do it through communicating with others and then interpreting that communication and trying to figure out what it means to us. Let's take a look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius 1. Retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. A woman who writes so much in her diary she has no time for anything else. A woman manacled in solid gold chains. Gypsies wandering across Siberia set up camp for the night. A hidden pathway which magically and effortlessly carries one to the top of a mountain. The stone for Sagittarius 1 is Falcon's eye or hawk's eye. It's a type of tiger eye. It is blue-gray to blue-green in color. It gives courage and intuition. It enhances communication, wisdom. It enhances your sight, both psychically and physically. It gives protection. It helps you go with the flow. Calms your temper. Helps you gain perspective so you don't do something in haste. It's linked to the throat and third eye chakra. It amplifies sensory perception, such as clairvoyance, to give you better balance inwardly. It helps you see the big picture, gives you clarity when you're feeling scattered or confused. Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. So this is about the military. It talks about Army, but I have seen it with the Navy guys. I've seen this is military to me more so than just Army, personally. And they're getting together to rekindle, reawaken a flame within. That's Sagittarius. So they're wanting to help people remember something. And they do it without even realizing they're doing it. So a coming together of people who have a fighting spirit, use power, a common sense of morality, a common sense of tradition, like-minded people coming together. About journaling very much. Sagittarius wants to understand things, is taking a look at the abstract of anything that catches your attention and boiling it down to its essence, but like pulling it apart and looking at each one, almost like an abstract painter. They're painting a bull, but you have to look at it in a certain light to, oh yeah, that's a bull, and what you feel is you feel the essence of a bull come through, even though it may not look like a realistic bull. So this degree is very abstract. You follow your inner urgings by spirit. You hear a voice inside, you listen to it. You're not crazy, just listen to it. If you have strong dreams, you follow them, you try to understand them, even when you don't, you may not necessarily understand them immediately. You keep at it because it may come to you the next morning, it may be blatantly clear that day, or it may be a couple weeks or months down the road before you're like, oh, okay, that's what that meant. This is like the long process of trying to get back to who you are. And it's also the idea of people walking each other home, like we're all in this together. This degree is very much about that. This is a highly inward degree, full of complex thoughts and feelings, an endless array of impressions and reactions. It is very much interested in getting to the root of where's the power, where's the fire of whatever it is they focus on. Also, the woman manacled in gold chains, there's a need to attach yourself to something that is meaningful. If you attach yourself to something that doesn't adhere to your own moral code, or it's not meaningful at a very deep level, Sagittarius is deep. It's about spirituality and perceiving the truth of things. If it's not that, if you're only feeding, say, your ego, but it's more superficial than what your soul is urging you to do, you're going to have some hiccups. And if you keep listening to yourself inwardly and your dreams and your journals, you will figure it out. It may take you some time. But if you get flustered and you only are driven by anxiety, let me read this part, emotional distress, compulsive actions, obsessive thoughts, irrational fears, you will run in circles. And you want to avoid that, obviously. If you catch yourself doing that, stop, take a breath, clean something up, take a minute and say, am I on the right path here? Do I need to stop what I'm doing? You do need to stop what you're doing for a minute to give it some thought, but like in the bigger picture, is this serving my highest purpose? Is this what I need to be chained to? You're going to dive in head first, and you're going to be attached to it in such a way that all else kind of falls away. So if you're going to immerse yourself in something, you want to make sure it's something that's really feeding you at the highest level. That's the caveat, that's the warning with this one. So by limiting ourselves in a meaningful way, like I will use myself for an example, I thought I needed to be limiting myself only with my art, and so I did, because all in my chart it kept saying you're creative, you're creative, you're creative. So okay, I'm fine, I'll be an artist. And at the same time, I always had this urging that I love astrology, and even when I would step away from astrology and think, wow, I just need to step back from this, I would read a book, and lo and behold, you know, and it would be some like Sitchin, and I'd come right back to astrology. You know, like the punchline is astrology. I couldn't get away from it. It kept coming back. So if there's something that keeps coming back around to you, it's talking to you. Take a look at it. It could be something that you need to focus on. If you give it the attention it requires, it will feed you and calm you in a way that nothing else will. And once you get to the bottom of it and give it the due attention that it requires, you can let it go, and then you can move on. But this degree demands connecting to something very deep, tracking the flow of our insights and thoughts is the way to see your way through. And the more you lean in and the more you listen to yourself and not gurus, you're going to want to listen to yourself, not gurus. So if you listen to a guru, you need to always step back and say, okay, am I getting in too deep with this person? What does my higher self say about that? And you journal about it, and or think about it, and if you dream about it, write it down, really pay attention, and it will guide you. It will guide you through. But at first it may take this one can be a sticky one. We are still in the realm of, there's really no middle ground here. So you're either into obsessive anxiety, fear, going in circles, or you are listening to yourself, you're marching to your own little beat, and you just don't worry about what other people think about it, because it is the way that you must go. The road reveals itself as you do, and you're just calmer. You're calmer, and you're going on faith. So that's what I have for you today. I thank you so very much for being here, for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If these degrees are very strong for you and you would like to leave a comment, I would love to hear it. We all can learn from it. If you've had a dream about these specifically, if you have some comments about these symbols, I would love to hear them. And take care till next time.